Turning loud, yeah.
Hey guys, welcome to the Shift Team Network Facebook Live show. And I have two very important people here that's very dear and close to my heart. They're educators. We have Desmond Bird, that's been a music teacher. He's a musician, just talented in education and teaching kids the gifts of music. And I have Madison Jordan right here, who works for the Philadelphia School District. He helps place kids back in school. Hello, Melody. I can't see, my camera's far away, but anyway, welcome to everyone that's going to join. But today I'm going to talk about the importance of music in education, the importance, and also about the lack of funding, the funding that has been taken out of education for the arts. Budget cuts, budgets have been trimmed and cut. In 2008, it says 80% of American schools since 2008 has so much money taken out of the arts and music. So, Mr. Bird, if you could just kind of hone in on the importance of music in a child's life and their different gifts.
Number one, music training, it helps develop the child's language and the child's brain.
Okay.
It helps with memorization. And we all learned our ABCs through a song.
I remember that.
So it is the foundation.
Yeah,
Music is the foundation. And it's important because it also helps a student learn how to improve their work ethics.
Okay.
And
explain how. Like how would it help with that?
Because music promotes craftsmanship.
Okay. Okay.
Music creates a good, steady work process. When children are learning, they learn better with music on.
Okay. I've heard that. Many of my kids in my class would say, "Oh, Miss Newman, can we turn music on? Can we turn on some classical music or jazz music?" So I do agree with that. So now, what have you seen taking place in the classroom with all these different budget cuts and funding's dropped from the public education reference? What changes have you seen taking place in the classroom?
I've noticed that where there's a lack of a music program, that the child sometimes cannot find a way to let that tension, that stress,
or express themselves. I love it. I love it
because there's no outlet. Music allows a child to explore.
I love it. Yes, absolutely. Because I know today a lot of education is focused on data, statistics, testing, and many children have every child has their own gift in their own light. Okay, and that child's gift may be music. But if you're not offering music to them in the school, they can't get it in the community because the community centers are shut down. I mean, funding has just been cut. So where does that child go? So we need music and art in the classroom. And I know myself, I played the clarinet for a couple of years in middle school. Yes, I did. I played the clarinet. And music also teaches discipline, believe it or not. And it teaches order, to follow order and discipline.
It causes the child to have a higher level of esteem.
Wow, I love it. I love it.
Child, if they're dealing with anxiety, music brings down anxiety.
Okay.
And, so it is important that we have the music program in the school, and we have the funding. To back that program. Yes.
So Madison, you deal with placing kids back into the public school system when they've been displaced, I guess. And so do any of your kids come to you and say, "Well, if I had this program in school, I wouldn't have gotten in trouble," or maybe if I had an art program or if I had a music program, we could have prevented all of this? Have you ever experienced that?
Not necessarily targeting a particular program, but the need for programs in music, not just in the music or playing music, but music from music of like children or students. If they have the classroom, or they have the classroom set up as a studio.
Okay.
You have to give children something they want to do.
Yes.
Now, music is universal. So the simple fact is that a lot of times that when children come back, they may add, but the programs that's set up in music throughout the country are usually set up in schools in well-to-do areas, or children who got to be accepted into a certain program. It's not a general music program like probably when we grew up.
Yes, because we had general music program when I was growing up. Yes.
Everybody had to sing on the choir, so it was taught to you. So the thing is that a lot of times that programs are cut, such as music. It takes away from their ability to talk,
express themselves.
because. And another thing is that the music that's listened to today is that we have to be, it's the same. Music is universal. So the thing is that once you get to a point where you see that budgets are cut or they're just not having any music in the classroom, and from my standpoint, because we used to do musical therapy with children.
Music therapy, yes.
In a prior life. So the thing is that music does a lot of things. It cures behavior.
Absolutely does.
It elevates the intelligence level.
Yeah. I know a lot of times when I give, sometimes, and it's not often, and I would like to do it more often, but a lot of times when I assign a child something, a project to do in the classroom, they'll ask if they can explain that content, be it photosynthesis or whatever, in musical format, in a rap. And I'm like, that's wonderful.
Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying? So, music expression helps kids express how they feel, and it can also help kids express what they know. You see?
Music develops the whole brain.
Yes.
Not just the education part, but also the imaginary
Yes,
part of
yes.
child. And so it's fundamental in creating that foundation for the entire child.
And you never know, and that child who may be a discipline problem, they may be the next musical prodigy. You never know what that child has in reference to writing, and that's a lifelong, that's a lifetime of having steady income through royalties or whatever. You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
But like Madison said, the message in the music today is has turned away from the message that was in the music when I was in school. And so you have a lot, but kids write what they live. You see what I'm saying? When we lived in a generation of love and caring each other, loving each other, unfortunately today they live in a generation of survival. And so the rap is about surviving and doing this and doing that. But we got to change it. It's time to change
we want
it.
to balance it, because we have to have an understanding of the child.
Yeah, we do.
And if we look at the rap music that we listen to, and the rap music they listen to, it's really the same.
And what
It's
really
just
becoming a lot more violent.
but
A lot more violent
But it's
today.
creating a creative economy. That's who they are.
Right.
That's so they can relate to it.
Right.
Now you can take what that child is producing and you can turn it around to make it be positive. Right. Because the instruction, the order of it all, when you allow them to flow, allow them to, as they say, spit their bars, but you want to challenge them, and also in the area and what they're writing.
Because I know I had one guy on the show. His name is Young Buck. He's a well-known rap artist, and he said a lot of these kids listen to this music, rap today, and the rappers aren't even living that life. You understand what I'm saying? They're selling something that life that they really don't live. And I asked him, I said, well, don't you think it's part of the artist's responsibility? If you know so many children are listening to you, and not just him in particular, but a lot of rappers, all of the lyrics are negative. It's about selling drugs, gang banging, and everything else. So, and I said, don't you think it's up to that artist's responsibility and the parent, because I'm not going to leave them out, to really, listen to what that child's listening to, because these kids listen to this music and they believe it's a reality. But the reality is you go out and you do these things, someone's going to end up dead or in jail. And so part of the media's responsibility and artist's responsibility, we need to put more music out there that's uplifting, that's positive, music intelligence. And just to be, music needs to be socially responsible. And it's the parents' responsibility really to listen to what your children are listening to. And if they're listening to things that are negative, things that are going to cause them to glorify, honor things that are wrong, listen, Bobby, you aren't listening to that. You see what I'm saying? And I understand that they live that life, but it's time for us to change that. That excuse can't fly no more. They live that life. Because we need to change the lives of the children and what they experience. If you just sit back and say, oh, well, they live that life. Well, guess what? They'll live that life short.
Absolutely, because music is influential.
It's influential. So we need to give them something else to look for. Everybody's not going to be a rapper. Okay, let's just be real. Everybody's not going to be the next Snoop Dogg or Jay-Z. We need to help children find their gift. And find their life. You might not be a rapper. You may be an accordion player. I don't know. Whatever. Through music, you can do it.
Music can redirect behavior.
Yes, and it's not just rap.
Absolutely. So
It's not just rap.
So the other piece is
Exposure to
things.
other things.
We need the program.
We need the program we need
Two
music
things.
in school. Hold on, Matt. We need music in school to expose children to different genres of music,
Absolutely.
different things in music. We need music back in school and art, guys. Music and art. Go ahead. And photography, Rich Jones. I see you there. That's art. Okay, go ahead.
So two things.
Hey, Pastor Hicks, how are you? And we sure enough need some. Well, that's another topic. We'll get to that too. But we need music. Pastor loves music too, so he understands the value of music.
So two things is that we as adults we have to connect with children. So
Absolutely.
What we do is we telling them your music is this, that, and other thing. But guess what? Now if you play some Migos, whatever it is, and then you play some Biggie, you're gonna get the same exact message. And the thing is about you have to meet these children where they at.
Well, it's not about the man. I can listen to Biggie, but I know I'm not going to go out and shoot and rob, shoot up a liquor store corner store. You see what I'm saying? Because I've been grounded. But this is what you have to teach children. That's where the teaching comes in. I mean, I love the beat of Biggie Smalls and all that, but the lyrics, I'm not even following them. I'm not honoring
The other
them. You
piece
see what I'm saying?
the other piece is that you're not living their life.
I'm not because I don't honor it. But they do. This is where the teaching comes in.
And we got to be careful in this area because you can have a country song that's just as negative as a rap song.
Absolutely. It's all, I'm not just saying rap, heavy metal.
Right. And then you can have a classical piece that speaks of I've lost my woman and I'm going to kill myself. That's where we get that romantic era from.
Okay.
So in that, like you said, the whole thing is to educate the child into what is acceptable and what is not acceptable, and that can only happen through music education.
And I'm glad you said it's not just rap because it's heavy metal.
Yeah.
It can be whatever genre of music can be negative. It can have a negative effect on children. But we have to learn. We have to start teaching our children what's honorable and what's not.
Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying? And that's where the parent comes in.
I did a 2-month class on what's acceptable and what is not because children thought that it was okay to sing some songs on the radio, and I'm trying to expose them to a different genre.
But then you have some parents come and say, "Well, you don't teach my child what's acceptable and what's not." So then, how do you deal with that?
I've had
because let me say this: they blame educators for everything that's wrong with the child, and the parent's not blamed. And then when you say to the parent, "I don't think you should be teaching your child this or that, or let them listen to this and that," then they turn around and say, "You aren't the parent."
Right.
So how do you deal with that?
I've tried to stay in a place wherein I am their music teacher, and I'm trying to expose them to positive music. And sometimes I'm really educating the parent or the guardian, because the parent or the guardian is unaware what is acceptable and what is not. I've had parents that tell me they're going to sing this in a talent show, and then I had to come up with a criteria of what will be okay and what is not.
Wow.
In the talent show, I had to change my whole scheme because the parent thought this was okay.
So on my side of the fence, right? So on my side of the fence, you're not gonna always have a parent, right? So you're gonna have the parent. You're not always gonna have a parent. And the other piece is that you're gonna encounter the child might be parenting the parent.
Wow.
So the thing is that when you start going in those areas, those are areas which you have to take an account for of what this child may be experiencing, what we think as being in education, tying it into the music piece as being cut. Some of that you're not going to get. You're not going to get a 2-parent household. You're not going to get a 1-parent household.
Absolutely.
You may get a child who's living in a household with their children. They're the teenage. They're the oldest child. The mother, father's not there, so you have to look at these things.
Well, then that's where the educator comes in.
That's
where the educator, because I tell teachers always, I tell novice teachers, I tell veteran teachers, teaching today is not like it was 30 years ago. A teacher today is a surrogate parent.
Yep.
I tell the teacher, I tell every teacher
It's
that
amazing you're saying that because
they're the surrogate parent.
Once the parent tell me my daughter can sing, my son can sing. Once the uncle say, I know my son is going to get that. I mean, my nephew going to get that part. Once I set up practice. Once I set up your voice part, your range, what you are able to do. Once I start showing the rhythmic patterns, then it all changes because I want to do what I do when I'm sitting in the back of my uncle's car. And now Mr. Bird has broken down in order to sing that part. I have to get my voice in the pitch. I have to match the pitch. He's teaching me I have to stay on beat. He's also teaching me that there's some words I may have to, So practice develops structure. And structure develops order. So now, not only that, as you said, now they are understanding there's more to it than what my mom see.
Absolutely.
So they become independent, like what you're saying. So this sometimes grabs the child, and the child becomes an artist. Now you create an artist because there's more to it than what I sing when I'm in my room.
Or like when that child and I hate the term bad children because I don't believe children are bad. I believe children have been given bad advice. That's just me being a child advocate. But what Matt just said, that child who doesn't have the parent in the home, they're raising themselves. And when that child, let's say he came out of displacement, out of an alternative school back into, and when he comes into your classroom and say, Mr. Bird, I can sing. So and you, Mr. Bird, knowing that child doesn't have the structure and support at home. Now that's when the parenting part of the teacher comes out, and you say, guess what? I'm gonna help mold you and bring out that gift in you.
Once you introduce that child to rehearsal, voice parts, being on time, that music can become the parent.
Well, that's it.
And so this is very important. I'm glad that we're having this topic. That's how powerful music has kept me out of the streets.
See? Well, there it is.
Because my mom put me on the choir. So on Saturday or whenever we have rehearsal, that was time that I was doing something positive instead of doing
something negative in the street. Absolutely. So we need funding for school music in school. We need funding for music in community centers. We need things for these children to do. This is why we see so much juvenile delinquency. This is not rocket science. You don't need a nuclear physicist to figure out the problem with children, okay? Children need things to do, and they need the parents in the home. There it is. They need discipline, and they need commitment, and they need consistency. Children need to be consistent. And music, I have so many kids that can sing, they can play, but music has been cut out of a lot of schools. There's no money for music anymore. A lot of these children wouldn't be in alternative schools. They wouldn't be in juvenile delinquency centers if they had more music and more art, programs. I really feel that. I feel that.
So are you talking about?
I know it's true.
Are you talking about? Are you talking about the federal government?
I'm talking about public school. Period. We need funding.
No.
We need funding. We need money. That's all I'm talking about.
So
we need the money.
So let's stick with money, right?
You don't have a keyboard?
Can we stick with money?
Funding for the keyboard.
So how can you teach keyboard? So what happens to that child that's interested in playing keys? He may know. I know some kids that can sit down and you can hum and they can play. They haven't had a lesson. So what happens to that child? There's no funding for music.
No funding for music. So what I did, I created email and that went out, and some one of the parents donated a keyboard, and it was said to me that I would have one, but however.
But the show must go on. Yeah. And you still continue to help that child.
I use my Casio little keyboard.
And a lot of teachers, I know teachers who have bought pencils, pens. Hold on, let me finish. Pencils, pens, pianos, like you said. Teachers give a lot. And I'm an advocate for the teacher too, because I know what we go through. We give a lot. But parents and community members, we need, and federal government funds, state funds, city funds, but we need your help in saving and salvaging our children. I'm tired of kids killing kids. I'm tired of seeing teens dying. I'm tired of seeing kids going to jail. We can say, we need to save our children. And music is one of the ways to save them. But, that's just that. They love music. I love music.
And study has even shown, my brother works with children that have behavior problems.
Mm-hmm.
But study shows that children who are part of a choir, a band, they're less likely to
Mm-hmm. Less
get
likely.
involved.
Less likely to get involved in
Yeah,
negative
some
issues.
things
So
like that.
let's talk about the funding piece,
Oh,
because what happens is that if you got to talk about levels, right? So if you're talking about levels to what the funding is, how you going to fund things, and you're talking, are you strictly about schools?
I'm just talking about funding in public schools.
Okay.
That's it. The money for public
So
schools,
you
because
talking about
most of our children
so-
in public schools. Private schools, I'm not worried about.
so
I mean,
it-
funding for money in public schools,
So
that's
in
it.
public schools, if you have people out there who
Most of them
are,
probably go to public school. Their children.
but hold on. So what about the people, the industries who should be paying into these public schools?
Well, that's why I said
Because-
we. When I said we, I mean them too.
Right, but
You
what
get what
I'm
I'm saying?
saying is that we lose the fact that, listen, we got a U.S. Secretary of Education who's cutting everything.
Well, that's why I said it's been
In
cut.
education, who's cutting everything.
It's been cut. We were just
Music,
talking about music
everything.
today. We were just
Right,
talking about
I
music
get that.
in the arts today.
Right, I get that piece, right? So what about the artists who somebody should be writing some letters to?
You know,
Well, they're
So
part of the
create
league.
those programs.
And let me say,
They're a part of the league.
there are a lot of artists that do give.
Yeah,
Yeah, there are a lot of artists, but we need more.
Right, but it's not pushed because of course the money is going to other areas. Money is going to other areas.
Listen, only we can save us. Do you understand what I'm saying? And we all, and I'm not talking about color, I'm talking about as a people, period. If you call yourself the United States of America, we need to be united. Okay? Because if you aren't united, you'll fall by division. It's very simple here. So we have to save our children. The children are 100% of our future. You understand? So we must invest in our children. Our children are being raised by cell phones and the internet and Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, or whoever you want to call it. And I understand that parents are working, they don't have the time, but you got to make the time.
Absolutely.
You understand? And then the teacher has to step in also as a surrogate parent. A lot of teachers don't want to do that, but I'm here to let the teachers know that's part of your job.
Absolutely.
When you say I do as a teacher,
it's commitment.
it's commitment to the lives of these children. And sometimes we got to step in. Sometimes we have to take clothes home and wash them. Okay? Sometimes we have to, hey, here go $10 for a Big Mac sandwich for today or tomorrow. It is what it is, because to save these children.
You're beyond yourself. And music
I love music.
will do that.
I put on some classical music in my classroom, and it just calms the beast. You know what I mean?
And some have never heard
Never.
a classical piece in their classroom.
Never. And so that's where music comes in. And then, like for kids that Matt bring out a placement back into the, I know there are a lot of kids that have so much talent, but we don't have the funding. We don't have the programs in school. The only thing we focus on is math, science, English, and social studies. Or, the four, classes. But it's so much more to people than just that. We're putting all these kids. It's like we're having a football team, but everybody has to be the quarterback.
Yeah.
Now, how you gonna win with that?
Okay.
You have no defensive line, there's no team.
You're saying they need the exposure of a choir, working
Absolutely.
together,
Everything.
hearing each other
Yes.
part. They need a band.
Different parts work
working
together.
right?
Different parts.
Absolutely.
And that's why we need to work together.
One voice,
We
one
need to
sound.
work together to bring these children in and to save these children, guys. There is a serious epidemic in this country. Children are dying. Children are dying on the battlefield. They're killing each other, so we need some soldiers. We got 3 soldiers right here. How many soldiers we got out there? Well,
Awesome.
whole lot watching. Well, that's it. Message and music.
Awesome.
Mr. Bird, thank you. And Madison Jordan, thank you.
Thank you.
And we're all on the battlefield. The 3 of us, we're on the battlefield of education. And many of you that are watching are on that battlefield. We thank you and God bless you. And until next time, from the Shift Team Podcast, radio show, Facebook Live, and just watch out because we're going Sandra Newman Network. That's the only way. See you later. Bye. You have to push. Hey, Stephanie. You have to push
Hi, Steph.
finish.
Bye, Steph.